The date is October 21st, 1999. I am speaking with Jadzia Greenbaum. My name is Ruth Schiller. It's being taped in Margate, New Jersey, USA, and the language is English. The date is October 21st, 1999. I am speaking with Jadzia Greenbaum. And my name is Ruth Schiller. We're in Margate, New Jersey, USA, and the language is English. Please state your full name and spell it.
My name is Jadzia, Jadzia, Greenbaum, Greenbaum.
And what was your name?
Altman, A-T-L-M-A-N.
Altman?
A-L-T-M-A-N.
Did you have a nickname?
No.
Where were you born?
In Bedzin, Poland.
In what year?
1925.
How old are you now?
74.
Think back to your earliest recollections. How old were you? The farthest back that you can remember.
Yeah. I was second child, and I had a happy life, very happy life.
How old were you as far back as
I remember, I would say approximately 7, 8 years old. And everything was fine, wonderful. We were fairly well off, and we had a nice house, and I mean apartment, except was the house. And I had very nice parents. I had my oldest brother, Chaim, then I had a younger sister, Tauba, and my youngest brother, Yossi.
Describe your home as a child.
My parents were religious. My father was a religious
We're talking
man.
just about the home now. We will talk about your parents.
Okay. We had a very happy home. Everything was fine. We had.
What did it look like?
We had really 2 bedrooms, but 1 bedroom we made for 2, so the girls slept separate and the boys slept separate. And then we had a dining room, what was like living room, dining room, and a kitchen. And we had a store.
With the home?
Connected to the home. And it was in our own home, our own house. And we were very happy.
What was the name of the street you lived on?
The number is 9 Mościckiego.
Do you know how to spell that?
Oh, Mościkiego, I think. I forgot already.
What language did you speak at home?
Polish and Jewish.
And what about outside the house?
With the kids, mostly we spoke Polish. Some Jewish too, but mostly Polish. We had a maid, so we spoke mostly Polish.
What was the maid's name? Do you remember?
The last one, what I remember, it was Marisha. Yeah, she came. Okay, maybe you ask me later about that.
No, you can tell us.
When the war broke out, it was on a Sunday. She had to go, she had a day off. So then she came back Wednesday, and she said that she's afraid to stay with us because they're going to kill all the Jews. So, you know, me as a child, I got scared. I went and asked my mother, and my mother said, "Don't be a child." She said, "The woman doesn't know even how to write her name. How does he know, or they're going to kill all the Jews?" But somehow she knew.
Going back to your home,
yeah,
that period of time, do you remember any of the toys you had or the books you read?
Oh yeah, I went to the library. I brought out books and I read. I remember I read Victor Hugo's book, and I don't remember the name, but the author I remember. And all different kind of books. Mostly I liked math. I liked in school too, math.
Math?
Yes.
Did you have any favorite toys?
Yeah, we played with dolls or balls, just girls games. And ice skating I played a mandolin. And then later, somehow I was good in music, I don't know why, but the teacher gave me a guitar and I should play, and he put me in the school orchestra. So I enjoyed it.
With whom in your family were you closest?
I think with my sister closest. We all were close, very close.
Which sister?
I had only one sister.
What was her name?
Tauba.
And how many years difference were there between?
About 2 years. We were apart.
Was she older or younger?
She was younger, a younger sister. I only had one brother older, and my sister was younger, and then I had a younger brother.
What was your father's name?
Hersch.
And describe your father.
My father was, when he was 14 years old, his mother died, and he went to a yeshiva where he learned Hebrew and he learned Polish. And then my grandfather had a store, so my father had to quit the school, but he taught himself the rest, and he was very educated. He spoke 4 languages perfectly. He spoke Polish. He wrote papers to court for lawyers. People came to him to ask questions, you know, what they're supposed to do or something. So he must have been a very smart man. And then during the war, they went, and he was in the Jewish community center. He was like one of the people over there. So I can imagine he must have been, people thought about him. He spoke perfectly German, because I heard him speak to the German soldiers during the war. He knew how to speak Russian, and Jewish he spoke.
Where was he born?
I think in the same town, Belgium. I'm not sure, but I think so.
Was he in business?
Yeah, we had a store. Except this, my father traveled a lot. He was in some kind of business. It's why I have that picture. It's from a passport, what my father had. So he must have done some business out of the country, but I don't know what.
And his education? How far did he go in school?
He only went till he was 14 years old, but then he taught himself a lot by himself. He went also to rabbis, to different rabbis like Kotzke rabbi and Gera rabbi, and he learned over there with them. So I know he must have known very, very well Hebrew.
Did he observe the holidays?
Oh yeah, he was a very religious man.
How often did he go to synagogue?
Every Saturday and during the week.
Every day?
Every day, yeah. Yeah.
And what about the holidays?
The holidays were observed like very orthodox.
Could you describe the way some of the holidays were observed?
Now, Saturdays, Friday night he went to the synagogue, and then he came home and we ate dinner. Saturday morning, he went to the synagogue, we came home, and we ate dinner again, like a Shabbos dinner. And then my parents were resting, we kids went out for a walk or something, got all dressed up for Shabbos and went out. And Saturday, we observed Saturday like very Orthodox Jews. And we put on the lights when after it was nighttime. You know, when so you're supposed to do. My mother lit the candles on Friday night. We didn't touch the candles until after Shabbos.
Did your mother also go to synagogue?
Yeah, mostly on holidays.
What was the name of the synagogue?
The Kotzke Stiebel, or from beginning he went to the Gera Stiebel. Stiebel is a small synagogue, and it's where people go, the followers of the Kotzke Rebbe or of the Gera Rebbe go over there. And later my father switched to the Kotzke Stiebel. He followed the Kotzke rabbi, because the Kotzke rabbi knew better how in Hebrew than the younger. But wait a minute, I have to explain you. After the Gera rabbi died, it became a younger rabbi, and he wasn't so learned so well. So he must have been, but not as what my father liked. So he switched to the Kotzke Rebbe, because the Kotzke Rebbe was more learned. So he liked to have a lot of knowledge, a lot of learning.
Can you describe the synagogue?
The synagogue was the Gera Stiebel was a nice big synagogue, a nice building by itself with big windows. It was nice. The Kotzke was a smaller one. They didn't have maybe that many followers, so it was a smaller one.
The women sat up?
The women sat up, and the men were downstairs.
How did your father pass away?
He must have been in 1940. He sent me the last picture in 1943, I think in May. And after this, I don't really know.
Where was he at the time?
He was, when they sent out all the Jews from our town to Kamionka, to a little village where the Poles lived, and they chased out all the Poles and they pushed in all the Jews over there. It was a place where there was no roads, just dirt walking. If it's after rain, it was all mud over there, and over there they pushed the people in. And there, my father and my youngest father were still there. This I know because I got the picture of them. My mother wasn't there anymore, and then I think it was, they kept him until maybe, I figure, maybe a month or 2 months later, and then he had to, they took him to Auschwitz, because from our town they took everybody to Auschwitz.
Were you with him when he was taken away?
No, I was in concentration camp already.
What was your mother's name?
Hannah.
Well, describe your mother.
My mother was a housewife, and she helped to cook. We had like a small restaurant, so she helped to cook for the restaurant. She was a very nice person. People liked her. And we loved her. She was our only mother.
Where was she born?
She was born in Puabe. This is a town that has right now has 2 universities. Before it, they had only 1 university. And the town is between Warsaw and Lublin. Lublin is also a big city, but it's a very nice town. There's a lot of nice parks.
How far did her education go?
I really don't know, but I knew she could speak well Polish, very nice.
Other languages also?
I don't, must be Russian, because German, you see, my father knew German because the German occupied that part of Poland before World War I. My mother was on the Russian side, so she must have spoken Russian. I never heard her speak, but I can understand she must have spoken Russian. And she spoke Polish very well, because she had tutors from the university, and they taught her. So she had like a Warsaw accent.
Mm.
And
You know when and where your mother died?
she was sent away. You see what happened. The Germans in 1942, I was already in camp. So in 1942, they went and they told all the Jews to go to 3 different football, soccer fields, not football, soccer fields. They go and get mark the cards what they had with the names. And from there came in the Nazis, the SS, and they selected people. One group goes to the left and one group goes to the right. To the right they sent home and they sent to camp. And to the other side, I can imagine must have been the left side, the people were sent to Auschwitz. And they sent my father was there too, and my younger sister. And they went and the Jewish community took my father out from there. And then my sister was sent.
I don't understand. How could they take him out?
They could, because they said the Jewish community needs him. The committee. We had a committee. The ghetto had a committee, and my father was in that committee. So they went because they took the Germans took him. So they said they needed my father in the committee. So the Germans let him out, and then my father went to ask to take my mother out. You know, he went to the committee to talk to people to take my mother out. Meantime, the Germans on the street caught him again, and they put him again in camp over there in that gathering. And the committee came and took him out again, second time. And when the committee...
What was special about him that they kept taking him back?
I don't know. Maybe they needed a learned person. Maybe they needed a smart person. I don't know. I know that with whomever you speak from our town, they praise, always they praise. Even from beginning, right after the war, I myself, I didn't know, I didn't judge my father that much. I didn't know, oh, he's that learned. But the people were talking, so I could understand. After a while, when they were telling, oh, Herschel Altman, of course, he was a smart man, he was this and he was that. And I know, home even, people were coming in and asking always questions. Tell me, what's going to happen? They want to have the answers my father should give them. My father himself didn't know what to say. So they were sitting down and they were talking, they were discussing. Maybe we should do this, you know, different things. But nobody could do nothing. That we were trapped in and we couldn't do nothing. We couldn't go no place. We were so, not only that it was the ghetto, but if you go out from the ghetto, the Poles would grab you and they would bring you into the Germans. I don't know, you know, the Germans said to the Poles, if you bring in a Jew, they're going to give you 5 kilos of sugar. So if they caught a Jew, they brought him in, and the Pole got 5 kilos of sugar. You know, the person was worth only 5 kilos of sugar, no more.
Did your parents speak about anti-Semitism when you were a child?
Not that we should hear, but we saw when the Poles were going around and saying, nie kupuj u Żyda, this means don't buy by a Jew. and they stood in front of the stores, and they didn't let the Poles go in to buy something in a Jewish store. That I saw before the war.
What would have happened if they went in?
The Poles were afraid to go in. I don't know, maybe they would hit him, or who knows? I don't know. So the Poles didn't go in. When they went away, they went in. That's what it was.
Tell me about your parents' celebration of the Jewish holidays. Shabbat and Hanukkah. Do you
Yeah.
remember any celebrations?
Oh yeah, sure. Now, Saturday I told you how we celebrated. Now let's say Passover. We changed everything, you know, like we're supposed to do. All the dishes, everything, all the food. Now Hanukkah, we had a beautiful silver menorah hanging on the wall. I always talk about it because as a kid we loved it. It was, you could see, we didn't light it with candles. We lit with oil, with a cord through, and we lit with oil. And it was in the middle, there was a little ring with a bird in it, and we always went over there to give it. Was swinging. On one side it was a candle, you know, to lit those things. And on the other side, it was a little a picture, a little bit. And it was so beautiful with palms, with lions holding up to the palms. It was so beautiful. I always remember that menorah.
Was there gift giving?
Yeah, we got money. For Hanukkah, we got money. Hanukkah again, sure. And we went out, we bought some stuff, you know, like kids like to do.
Remember anything special about Sukkot?
Sukkot, we had a sukkah ourselves, and we decorated it. And my mother always made a special food for the sukkahs. So what she made is something special. What I talk about it. She bought a fish. They call it a hecht. I don't know, or it's a pike or whatever. It's a long fish with a long head, and she cut it in slices. Then she took out the inside, the two how you call them, the steaks, like the two steaks from the fish, because one part was where the stomach was, but she took this out and she chopped it up with onions and something else, I don't know. I know she put in almonds in it, and she chopped it up, and then she filled everything out. She put back into it when it was nicely chopped up, and she put in, I think, hard-boiled eggs she put in. That's what I can remember. And she filled it up, and she cooked it, I think, with a little bit sour like sour salt, and with sugar and pepper and salt. And she put in, forgot those, you call it those leaves, where you marinate, bay leaves. And this, it looked so pretty when she served. That was her specialty when she served. You know, every woman tried to make the nicest food with the nicest things, just to show off when you brought into the sukkah.
Who built the sukkah?
My oldest brother. Mm-hmm. We had a sukkah ready, part. Every winter, before sukkahs, we took it off, we brought it out, and after sukkahs, my brother brought it down back to the basement. Yeah.
Are any of your siblings alive today?
No. They didn't even live through the war. My sister died 3 days before we were liberated in Bergen-Belsen. She was, right after I was liberated, a girl said something that she thinks my sister is over there. Just before we were liberated, because when we came to Bergen-Belsen. So after we were liberated, the English army liberated us. So I figured we were not allowed to go from one camp to the other because everybody had typhoid. We were not allowed to go through, so somebody else doesn't catch. We just came in 2 weeks before liberation to Bergen-Belsen. The other ones were over there for months already. So I figured I'm going to take a look myself, or my sister's alive. So I went, and I could see the soldiers scream. They were afraid to come close to me. They were screaming at me, I should go back, I should go back. I figured, they're not going to shoot me. What's they going to do to me? So I went, and I went. They screamed I should go back, and I went. And I came over there, and I came to one of the barracks, and I asked them, or they know those girls were there from Greenbaum. She was in the same camp, in the same town. When she went to concentration camp, she was in the same town what I was. But she was in a different company, and I was in a different company. We didn't see, I think once we saw each other. And then I went in Bergen-Belsen, when I came over there to that barrack to see my sister, I just passed by and I looked around just at the faces, at the girls. And all of a sudden a girl stood up and started to cry and hugged me. And she said, you must be Topcha's sister. I recognize you from the pictures, what she had. I said, yeah. What's her last name? She said, Altman. She said, yeah, that's my sister. She said she died 3 days before. So she told me, oh, I want to go out and see her. She's laying outside, naked. You know, I saw dead people laying, but I couldn't imagine that should be my sister. So I said, I don't want to see her in that kind of condition. So I went back, and then I was sorry I didn't see her. So when it was maybe a week later or a few days later, we never knew what the date is. So when in Bergen-Belsen they brought in all the people, all the men to bury those dead people was laying around. So they made one big ditch, one big ditch for 1,000 people to be buried in there. So I saw they were taking ropes and tying up on the feet, and 2 men was on each foot, and 2 men was pulling the dead from the camps over there to the dead people, to the graves. And I stood over there. I figured maybe I see my sister, but I don't know. There were so many people. So.